What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on into the Brass Ring Media Podcast on a huge week. It's Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. I'm your host, Zach Haydorn. One of your hosts, Tyler Sage, will be right here in just 1 second, but I'm pumped to be here. Goodness gracious, it's one heck of a week. It's WrestleMania week. It's WrestleMania week. This is why we do this, right? I love this week. It's going to be busy. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild. There's going to be a lot for you to listen to, a lot for you to watch. And I'm grateful that you're here today with us and that you're here with us for Brass Ring Media and what we do. It's a big week for us, and it's a fun week. And we're just glad and honored and privileged to have the audience that we do with you. So thank you for finding the show, not just today for WrestleMania preview day, but just in general. It's a good time to kick back, sit back, and just thank you for the support. We appreciate it. If you're finding us today on YouTube and you're watching us there, and this is your normal place for seeing our work, thank you for being here. If you're checking us out on Twitter and you're checking us out on One True Sport or the RVD Twitter account, thanks so much for finding us. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for being here, and we certainly appreciate it. We've got a lot on the agenda today, as you can imagine, with WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania, and we are going to preview that entire show, top to bottom, every single match on both nights. We're going to do a both night deal here because I'll be in Vegas starting on Thursday, and so we won't have a traditional Thursday episode of the show because I'll be in Vegas. However, we do have a ton of content planned for you, Brass Ring Media style in nature, all throughout the week. And I'll get into some of that here in a minute. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, which is of course going to be WrestleMania, I wanted to just feel you guys out on where you at on the build to this show collectively. And just like anything else, I think that there's good and bad on the build to this show. But I want to know where you're at collectively. Where's your head at? What grade are you giving it? Let's not even do the grades. Because I think it's more fun to be more to be more absolute with it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. In the chat. Go ahead, go nuts. Just use that little emoji if you so choose. My opinion on this, I give this a thumbs in the middle build. There's no way this can get thumbs up from me with all the multi-person matches that are on this show. I say like multi-person matches are kind of like Chicago Bears quarterbacks. If you think you have 3, you don't have any, right? You know, just like this. If you have a singles match and you think that adding a third person into it makes it better, do you really have the singles match that you thought you had? I mean, maybe you do, but like you certainly aren't giving that singles match a chance to breathe by adding the third person in it or a fourth person. And there's too much of that on this show. And with big talents. Like last year, I thought where WrestleMania really hit was because of the fact that the top matches, the tip-top matches on the show were all singles matches. Right? I mean, Roman and Cody, Seth and Drew, Becky and Rhea. You had Bayley and Io Sky. All your title matches, all your singles world championship matches were singles matches. Plus, then you had Gunther and Sami Zayn singles match, right? And so it didn't get into multi-person match territory until the middle or bottom of the card. And I think that's where you want those multi-person matches to be. Like if you want to get somebody on the card, you do it there. You don't sacrifice your top matches to do that. This year, I think that they're top heavy with the multi-person matches. You've got both women's matches your Raw Women's Championship match, multi-person. You've got that contains 3 of your biggest women's stars in the company. On the men's side, same thing. You have a non-title match, multi-person match. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, top guys in a multi-person match. The IC title has a multi-person stipulation to it. So it's just all over the place. And then when you add in like the NXT card, it's even worse. The NXT card is like stocked with multi-person matches for really no reason. So I just think there's too much of it going on. And for that reason, I give it kind of a thumbs in the middle build. There is good stuff here though. And we're going to get into all of that as the show progresses today. I liked what they've done with Jey Uso and Gunther. I mean, I think that they turned a corner with that. I know Tyler, who's already messaged me about this. Tyler's has said here, hey, I don't like the build. I believe the wording that Tyler, you know what? Why even guess? This is what it was. My take on the Jey promo was it was a whimper of a finish. There you go. I disagree, but heck, everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. So I think there's a lot of that on the show. So I'm excited to dig into this and get into it and mix it up and do what we do here on the Brass Ring Media podcast in the biggest week of the year. Preview WrestleMania 41. All right, but let's take care of a little bit of business first. This is the Brass Ring Media podcast, and we are live here on the One True Sport YouTube channel every Tuesday, usually every Thursday. We do this show, our flagship show, twice a week, and we stream live right here on YouTube with One True Sport. And then all of our shows, head to our podcast feed. Just search Brass Ring Media wherever you get your podcasts, and you can find these shows as well as other Brass Ring Media shows from Robert and the Kick-Ash podcast with Ashley. All of those are on the Brass Ring Media feed as well. So if you want to take us to the gym or to work or wherever, download our podcast and subscribe so you get all the new shows. This weekend, I will be in Las Vegas for WrestleMania, and we'll be updating that feed all throughout the weekend with different shows and different, I'm envisioning almost like check-in podcasts, like nothing long in length, but at the end of the day, just putting something out that kind of highlights what's been going on in Vegas, whether it's an indie show or just different WWE stuff that pops up, news perhaps. That's important. So I want to be able to check in with you guys on that. So I'll do that. Also, I'm going to be very active for our members as well. And if you want to check out Brass Ring Media membership, you can do that by heading over to Patreon. Patreon.com/Brass Ring Media is where you do that. We offer membership at $4 a month. That's it. $4 a month gets you access to our content. We also have a gold level membership, which I'll talk about in a minute. But if you just want the content and you just want what we do on a week-to-week basis for our members, is only $4. And we offer a member-only podcast once a week. We offer a free and full access to our newsletter. We offer all of our pay-per-view and PLE review shows, including this weekend twice for WrestleMania. We have a Discord for all of our members where everybody hangs out and talks wrestling and life. And it's a really good, really awesome group of people. So join up. Now is the time to do it. If there was ever a week or weekend to give us a shot, now is it. We also offer gold membership as well. That gets you extra perks, including unlimited kind of super chat access throughout the show, and also opportunity to join the show live, which we'll be doing today with our members, which is going to be an absolute blast. So thank you to our gold members, Adam Kidd, Sean Plicta, and Andrew H. We're going to try to get them on here for WrestleMania week to celebrate and to talk some of the matches as the show goes on. So probably about 15 minutes or so, we'll start that. Adam will kick us off, and it's going to be an absolute blast to talk wrestling and talk WrestleMania with him and everybody else. So stay tuned for that. live chat's open. You guys are already in there. I'm getting like coached up on what to spend money on in Las Vegas, and I love this. I need it. Andrew H says here, you can't hide money, Haydorn. Is it just don't buy the coffee there? I think it's just don't buy the coffee there. Yes. Okay. Don't buy the coffee there. I can't promise anything. I cannot promise that I won't be purchasing coffee in Las Vegas. But here's the thing. I'm going to be paying for it with their money. That's how it works in Vegas, right? It's that easy. Come on. Tell me it's that easy, guys. I need it. And think 21. Think 21 to yourself while you're watching. And you're thinking to me out there. I want some 21s while I'm sitting at the blackjack table. Thank you for the live chat. And thanks for the support on the coffee. We also have super chats open, you guys, and that's a great way to contribute to the show. It's kind of like the lifeblood of what we do as our members and our super chatters. So thank you. Thank you in advance for that. And if you want us to tackle a certain topic, obviously we're going to be WrestleMania focused. There was some news today that dropped about Mariah May. So hopefully we can get to that potentially. But we do have a lot to do with WrestleMania. So we'll stay busy. But the super chats are open and they're a big help. And if you want us to tackle a certain topic, definitely jump in there. That'll help us direct the show where you guys want to go. Any contribution amount helps, and really, really appreciate it. So thank you in advance. We just got one from Tracy. Wow, look at that. Tracy, thank you so much. Tracy says here, super chat to support those gold member Discord friends. Look at that. The gold members are a draw. They're a bigger draw than I could ever imagine. That I could ever imagine being. Thank you, Tracy. You're the best. Appreciate it. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start our preview for WrestleMania. Tyler's going to jump in just a few minutes. Him and I are going to chat, and then we're going to start bringing in our members, our gold members to talk WrestleMania. We're going to preview a couple matches with them, and then we'll try to trade off so everybody gets a chance to chat and give their thoughts on WrestleMania. I gave my high level thoughts already. Let's start off with WrestleMania Saturday. And this is what the card looks like on Saturday. We've got the WWE World Tag Team Championships on the line. War Raiders are taking on New Day. This is a match that, I don't think needs to be on WrestleMania, but I do like that the tag titles are on WrestleMania in a team versus team capacity. More on that in a minute. So we got a World Tag Team title match. We got El Grande Americano against Rey Mysterio. The United States Championship on the line on WrestleMania Saturday. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Naomi versus Jade Cargill in a singles grudge match. Tiffany Stratton defends the WWE Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair in a singles match. Gunther defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Jey Uso in what I think will be the opening match on the show, or at least it should be. Like take advantage of that. Take advantage of that hot audience right out of the gate, and get them while you can. Get them while you can. They got 2 nights of wrestling, and at that point they'll have already seen 2 days full of independent wrestling. So get that, film it. I'm sure we're going to see it on tons of episodes or tons of WWE hype material, that Jey Uso entrance. And then the main event, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in a triple threat match with Paul Heyman in the corner of CM Punk and not Roman Reigns. I bring in my partner in crime here. Whew. Man, I had to talk a lot there by myself. What's up, Tyler Sage?
Hopefully he talked about all the crap matches. So
you know what? I haven't talked about one single match yet. That's an artful open.
Hopefully I missed the plugs then.
You missed the plugs, yes. You missed the plugs. But I want to get your take on this. We went through and we gave straight up thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down on the overall collective build to WrestleMania this year. We had mixed opinions on this. I came in at a straight thumbs in the middle, confidently so. We had some thumbs up. We didn't really have any like straight up thumbs down. So are you the first one? I thought so. Go ahead. Take it away. Why?
Yeah, I mean, what do we have? How many matches?
14.
14. So we have a 1.5 of an AEW show, right? 14 matches over 2 nights.
Which is crazy, but yes.
I think the build is very similar to me, where there's like 3 or 4 things I'm really interested in. And then there's like a lot of stuff that would be totally fine if this wasn't on the show, right?
Yeah.
And this is a thing of having 2 nights. This is a 1-night WrestleMania. We probably have 7 matches, right?
Oh, man. If it was a 1-night WrestleMania,
because like you open with the triple threat, you close with Cody and Cena, and then you have, the 2 women's matches. So that's 4 right there. You probably then have what even makes the cut after those? For sure.
I mean,
anything?
For sure, I would say.
If you have 3 more matches to play with, what are they? Because I think that's where the thumbs down comes in. Because there's 10 more matches. I don't think any of them are like necessity for this build. And even the Jey and Gunther.
I would put more stuff in there as just like necessity in terms of like Jacob Fatu, for example. I'd have his match on there just because he needs to have a good WrestleMania this year, but not because I think that feud has been like out of this world good or anything. Drew and Damian. I'd put Drew and Damian on there for sure.
Yeah, and then whatever Randy and KO would definitely be there. If KO
Randy and KO would be there. Yeah.
But like that's just where I am. I'm interested in the top level stuff.
Yeah.
But the other stuff I could get, give or take. Like,
all right, that's fair. We got a super chat from Joshua. Joshua says here, use this super chat money to stop at Dutch Bros while you're in Vegas. All right, I'll take you up on that. No question about it. What's Dutch Bros? Is that a coffee shop? We were talking like people.
Hopefully,
don't buy. Coffee.
I'm hoping it's a brothel for the joke, but
dang it. I don't want to have to go back on my word to use it there. I'm hoping it's a coffee shop.
Yeah, we'll see if your wife watches the show. How about that?
So. Yeah, right. I can tell you she does not, or not anymore. I think she used to watch it. Maybe she drops it more than she thinks. Thank you, Joshua. Appreciate it. I should take some of the super chat money and like put it on Red or something. Like see if we can and then disperse it back in the form of something. But I appreciate it, Joshua. Thank you. All right.
A coffee shop, by the way.
It is a coffee shop. Okay. Do I just not know what Dutch Bros is? Is that bad?
No, Josh had it in the chat just for the podcast listeners. I want to make sure we closed the loop on that.
Okay. Wait, hold on. It's in the chat here.
Yeah. There's a more interesting coffee place. I'd be more interested in that personally, but
okay. But Dutch Bros is not a topless drive-through coffee shop. It's a regular coffee shop. Okay. Yeah. All right, Dutch Bros. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna document me hunting down Dutch Bros on YouTube.
Yeah, I've got other jokes, but we're not on the Patreon show, so I'll leave that there. With the name Dutch Bros. You can finish building after.
Oh my god! All right, let's start preview this WrestleMania show before we get ourselves into trouble. And I'm not even in Vegas yet, so I'm not even there yet. All right, let's talk the tag team title match. We got New Day against War Raiders, tag titles on the line. They had a match, didn't really have a finish to it. You had New Day pretty much just kind of punt that. But now, you've got this match. They haven't given this a ton of build or hype. I was surprised to see it even get a little bit of juice last night on the show in terms of like some backstage promos and a little pre-recorded thing from War Raiders. And so, I mean, this just doesn't have much to it. There's not really much to say about this one. But it did make me think about just how much the tag team division is its own self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, this could have been more than it is. You had a hot New Day, heel team coming out of the thing with Big E, and it just didn't get the time it needed to breathe. And all of a sudden, you're a week, 10 days before WrestleMania, you're like, oh crap, we got to have a tag team title match on the show. So let's do this. this stuff I think can mean more for WWE if they want it to, but they just don't put in the elbow grease to make it happen. I'm taking New Day here. It's time for them as heels to have the titles, and I don't know what you do after that, but to me, they need them. They need them if they're gonna be something of note on the show week to week, and I think they get it here. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm glad we have two sets of tag team belts first and foremost, as you just laid out there. If there was one, maybe you could condense it into teams that actually mattered, right? Pretty obvious. But I just wish there's a better babyface team to get heat for New Day in this spot. But yeah, I'll take New Day as well. I think
that's a good point.
Of like the anticipation thing, maybe I don't know if we plan to do that. If you want me to save that, if you like rank 1 through 14, it's got to be like 13th or 14th.
We'll do that in the Patreon show, like we know.
Okay, so I'll save that. That's the teaser, and we'll do the rest later.
Yeah, we'll rank on the Patreon show like kind of the importance of these matches, so that'll be good for our members. Check us out, patreon.com/brassringmedia. But yeah, like the War Raiders just don't have much oomph behind them at this point. I mean, they're fine, and I think the match could be fine and good even if it gets enough time, but just doesn't. It wasn't given a chance to be anything more than just kind of like a filler match on the show, period. Let's see here. Sean in the chat says here, I'm intrigued in this. The build could have been better, but the match should be really good. They had something with New Day, but they haven't done much. Yeah, exactly. I definitely agree with that. Sean also says here, they are trying to make the War Raiders feel like a bigger deal, but the tag teams just don't get enough time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you want to make this like something, it'd have to be like Big E would have to like be at ringside for the War Raiders or something. In fact, they're not pulling the trigger on that is like tells you all you need to know about how much they care about getting them over as heels and vice versa.
Yeah, right. It was just, I don't know. Like you think that you turn New Day that way, you'd have something a little more ready for them, but they just didn't, and that's that's a shame. However, I wouldn't want if you're not going to give this the time, you probably don't want to put too much effort into it anyway either. So I don't necessarily fault them for that, but that's why this is just kind of what it is. Thanks, Sean. And hello to Buff Enough, who just joined us from Twitter in the live chat. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you. All right. El Grande Americano, or someone else that I think it might be, / Chad Gable against Rey Mysterio. This was an odd one to add to the WrestleMania card. Like, I'll never, look, Rey Mysterio, good on him. He's getting some WrestleMania paydays, and that's good. But this really is a Raw match. This would barely make, a 5-match Saturday night's main event, and it's on this show, which is it's just kind of weird because of that. I get a kick out of this more than I should. I don't want to. I really don't want to, but I can see Chad Gable's level of investment into this. And so I'm giving this more of a chance than I should because it looks to me like Gable's like all in on this. And based on how things were booked on Raw last night with Rey Mysterio going over and him kind of having his moment to stand tall with American made, I'm going to take El Grande Americano in this one. And Gable / Americano gets his first WrestleMania singles win.
Yeah. I wonder how tempting it was, because I know if I'm a booker, I have Mr. America as El Grande Americano's manager for the heat spot.
Please no.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heat spot, and then it also is like a way to rib Hogan that you get.
Oh God, man, dude, that
and you're like,
that would be epic.
Yeah. So again, tells you how much they care about the gimmick too, not to even consider that sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, is what it is. I think you're right that have like an upper low card heel in Gable is something that would be beneficial. And Ray's just in that spot in his career. Like they probably should have, like in hindsight, they should have built up Ray and somebody to take on the New Day, and that would have been a better spot for everybody.
Yeah,
I'll go Chad Gable too.
Chad Gable too. What about Rey Mysterio? How many more WrestleManias does this guy have in him? You think?
What is he? Is he like Jericho? Is he like 54?
That's a good guess. Let me see. Ray
I'll say 53 is my official guess as of today.
All right, let's see here. Rey Mysterio is 50.
50, okay.
So he's got.
Yeah, I mean, probably however many he wants. I think, I'll say like 2.5. I'll take the over.
Okay, that'd be good. If you're him, there are two and a half more WrestleManias. Like, solid. Sean says here, I'm pumped about this match. Gable's doing such a fun job. Not sure who wins, but Gable needs to win. Yeah, he does. I mean, if this is going to have anything, he really does. He really does. All right. Let's welcome into the show one of our Brass Ring Media Gold members, Adam Kidd. Adam, what's going on, man? I'm gonna change our little banner here so we can not talk over each other.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
What's going on, Adam? How are you, dude?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Oh, doing good. Thanks so much. Happy WrestleMania week.
Happy WrestleMania week.
It was very fun to pop you with my jokes, as only I could see you on camera.
Yes, you were getting me. You were getting me.
Thank you.
Well, you owe me a few because I pop you in the chat a
I know.
lot.
Yeah. I'm excited to be laughing at yours as you talk. So.
Adam, I got to ask, any WrestleMania traditions, being that it is WrestleMania week? Is there anything you do or eat or order or something to that end that's WrestleMania?
I'll eat some pizza, get some wings. I usually watch alone. My kids, my sons, they're in their late 20s. Neither one of them are into wrestling. My wife just rolls her eyes and walks in the other room. So it's pretty much I'm watching by myself and chatting with everybody in the Discord.
There you go. It's a good use of the Brass Ring Media member only Discord. Awesome.
Yeah, my favorite part is when Zach pops in and starts saying stuff and he's not even watching. So I love that. I love Mr. Barber.
We do have some nice battles in the live or in the Discord chat. Respectful battles, but
yes,
but good battles nonetheless. Good battles nonetheless. All right, well, let's keep on with our preview here. We're going to loop you into what we do,
okay.
And then we'll have and then Sean Plickta will join us here in a bit as well.
Did we get Adam's official thumbs up, thumbs down on the build? I'm just curious if I missed that.
I was a thumbs in the middle, going towards down. There's no way it could go a thumbs up. It was The build was terrible. This is going to come across as a shot, but this is the most AEW like build to a WrestleMania. Like, the matches will be fine. These should be entertaining. They'll be good, decent in the ring, but the build was terrible for almost 90% of it.
Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight is the WWE United States Championship match. That is on WrestleMania Saturday, and we're in the middle of that card. To me, Adam, I think this is one of the better built matches on the show, just because it makes sense to me. Like, to me, it's like, you remember like a couple years ago, or not a couple years ago, Jesus, 20 years ago, 25 years ago almost, when John Cena wrestled Big Show in the opening match at WrestleMania 20, and he won the United States title. It was kind of a coming out party for him. He was really big. Madison Square Garden pop for him. I see this as a similar match for Jacob Fatu, but just in reverse. Not to get a babyface pop, but to be and start on the path of being a really, really top tier heel. And so I don't think they had to do much with this. You just book the match and let Jacob Fatu do his thing. What did you think of the build to LA Knight against Fatu, and who do you think is going to win?
I think the build was pretty good. I like Jacob Fatu a lot. I think he's going to be a WrestleMania main eventer if they don't mess it up in the next 2 to 3 years. I mean, the guy is money. Yeah. I have him go out there. This match is 5 minutes, in my opinion. Yeah. He needs to go over strong because I don't think, as much as they're going to try, he's not going to be a monster heel. He's a baby face. When he talks, the way he has something about him that you just gravitate to. You don't want to hate him. His moveset, the way he talks, I can be high praise. Stone Cold-ish is that no matter how hard they tried to make Stone Cold a heel when he first became Stone Cold, they couldn't. And that I see that in Jacob Fatu, and he just the way he moves for a big guy, as long as they don't mess him up and he doesn't do anything stupid outside of the ring, the sky's the limit.
What do you think, Tyler? Is this coming out party for him in that
Yeah,
way?
certainly. I mean, as Adam's talking, I'm thinking how I want to see like Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
right?
that's gonna
similar energies, right? Where like I mean, you kind of described Breaker in the same way, right? Where like he's just out there killing people and people love him. So separating them for a long time on either brand makes sense in the same trajectory. And I just looked it up. Fatu is 32. I would have guessed older.
Oh, really? I would have guessed younger on that.
But so that's I mean, in WWE he's like 20. The way that they have guys at the top, he's got 12, 13 years in him. So I feel like a Kevin Owens is like a floor for him, which is like high praise for somebody if everything goes well. So but yeah, I mean, coming out party, and I think this is what LA Knight is for at this point. Had his run at like, I think SummerSlam, 23 is like the peak LA Knight with all that stuff getting over, and now it's like he's AJ Styles basically, which is a fine spot to be in if you're him. Yeah. So I think this is a good use of him.
And LA Knight, like, it's not that he didn't get his moments. I mean, he's making more money than he ever thought he would be. He had a main event championship match against Roman Reigns. He's held singles titles. He's been on the last 2 WrestleManias and prominent matches. Like this is the high end of what you would have expected from LA Knight, if you ask me. And I say that as a really, really good thing. Not everybody is going to be Seth Rollins. So that's good.
He was managing the maximum male models,
right?
For God's sake,
right?
And got to where he's at. So I mean, I think he's overshot what anybody expected.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. So I'm taking Fatu. Tyler's taking Fatu, and Adam, you are as well.
Yes.
All right. There we go. Straight up to start things off. All right. Naomi against Jade Cargill, and this is the first I want to make sure that I get this right, and I'm sure I may get it wrong, but I'll do my best. This match is the first non-title women's singles match at WrestleMania since WrestleMania 22, and that was a bra and panties like pillow fight.
Wow.
I don't know if that's a good thing or it's not a good thing that it's taken this long for that to be a thing, but I'm glad it's a thing now. I really am.
You're saying they're going to add a stip? They're going to add a stip on Friday is what you're trying to tell me?
No, please no. But isn't that crazy, Tyler? Like that's 20 years ago, 20 years, and a whole WWE women's revolution in the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
no. Not from a talent standpoint, but from a just how wrestling is standpoint, I'm not surprised by
right.
That. Now, with that said, I'm glad this is getting time on WrestleMania. I think Naomi has really turned a corner, like with her work as this kind of heel character, and Jade, I think I would have assumed that you would have painted Jade in a heel role just because of her look, and she's bigger than everybody. Like it works pretty well. But I think she's played her cards well as a babyface here too. My issue, and they're talking about this in the chat already, is this match. The match itself, like, has to deliver for all that other stuff around it to matter. I think the build's been good. Character development has been good. I'm not sure, Adam, if the match can deliver.
I don't think that Naomi is a good enough ring general to carry Jade to a good match. And Jade's just unlikable. From even as a babyface, she just comes across unlikable. Just for me, I appreciate she has a great look, but she just is unlikable. I really hope it's good. I like the story. I think Naomi has been excellent since she turned.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I don't know if she can get it done in the ring with Jade.
Tyler, what do you think?
Is the triple threat the same night? What's the
No.
schedule? Okay. Yeah, I think you need some Bianca stuff here to get this like story told somehow.
Mhm.
I don't know what that is and that like how that doesn't affect that match, but I mean it's not like they've been worried about that up to this point anyway, affecting the story of that triple
Right.
threat. So it's a lot like the Fatu and LA Knight. It just seems like a Jade squash situation and get her over and get her a big moment. So I think like some Bianca post match and like where are they at this point? And like does then do you cross over and is Jade going to affect Bianca's chances to win that triple threat with no disqualifications, right? That's what I'm more interested in than the match itself. And that adds like a couple of minutes here. And I'm not opposed to like, hey, we have 7 matches and it's still 3.5 hours or whatever. So this match should be under 10 minutes, I hope. If it is, I think it has a chance to be memorable with a thing at the end. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a well-worked match. On paper, it's probably the worst worked match out of the 14. So I just hope it's like not a disaster.
Yeah.
To be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta hope. Yeah, right. And I think that as long as they like stay within what they know they can do, I think there's enough here to get a fine match out of it, especially if you loop in Bianca Belair in some form or fashion. I mean, to your point, she can really be an anchor for this one way or the other. I'm going to take Jade Cargill though because it is Naomi. Jade is clearly a priority, and she was part of a win last year at WrestleMania. But unless this feud is going to go on longer, which it may very well, and so that's why I'm not like fully confident in this. Because maybe they do drag this out till Backlash or whatever. They've got a lot to do after WrestleMania. I'm still going to take Jade. I think getting her a win in her first singles match on the WrestleMania card is important, and I think she does it here, even if they do continue it. So, Adam, where are you at as far as a prediction on this?
I think my prediction is Jade will win, but if I was booking it, I would have Naomi win. Because I think you can get a lot more mileage, especially depending on how Bianca wraps into this, either at WrestleMania or right afterward. I think there's a lot of mileage to get out of that story, but I think that it goes better with Naomi getting the first win.
Tyler, break the tie.
Yeah, I mean, I think Adam's got the better booking, but I think WrestleMania is about like the people, the bigger people getting over, right? And like having that moment. Obviously, this has been like a little bit of a participation trophy build where everyone gets on. And I think that's going to, for a lot of the lower card stuff, is going to be like, hey, you got your win. It's your big moment, etc. So I'll go with Jade.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the chat here. Sean says Jade has had a few good matches, but Naomi just isn't great. I've really enjoyed her heel persona. Yeah, I've had two. Yeah, it's gonna be it really is. It's gonna be how these two work together. Sean says here Naomi has to win because Jade has dominated her for weeks. Well, Sean, that's where I think you may see like Bianca Belair come in and I don't think Naomi's just gonna beat Jade straight up. Like that to me is just not in the cards, just because of where we know Naomi is. But with Bianca's help, then you may be able to get there. You think is that true? Is that accurate, Tyler? Like, I mean, Naomi good heel, but she's not occupying the spots that they want Jade to occupy.
No.
The next
it's more like if they do it, it's more for Bianca to help Naomi win and like fully turn and then give Jade a reason to, come in there the next night and screw Bianca, and then you get your SummerSlam story based on that.
Yeah,
or whatever, right. Backlash, what have you. That can be like a co-main event at Backlash.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I think Adam was like, "Peace out. I'm done with you guys."
He's back.
He's back. He's like, "Hey, what was it? Sorry, something
guys.
you said? Was it something?"
No. I had technical difficulties with my phone.
No problem. All right. Let's see. What's next here for night one? Okay. Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair. I think this is going to be interesting to break down. The WWE Women's Championship. We know what's happened here. They've taken this feud off the rails completely, and it is just it's out there now. I mean, everything's out in the open. They've went off script this week on SmackDown. They had a big attack angle with Charlotte Flair. That is fine, I think, for what it was, but I don't think anything is going to top that one night in the ring in Chicago. Like, that's the story of this match at this point. That's why you don't do things like that, because you don't want people only thinking about one thing. But that's where we're at, Tyler. What have you thought about this, and where do you think they go from a winner perspective, taking into account everything that's happened?
Yeah, I mean, besides that moment, it's a horrible build, right? It's the same thing over and over again. It is, I'm you but better from the Tiffany side, and Charlotte is like, I'm the best ever. Please worship me, right? That's the story. So on that front, easily of like the matches that have to be on this card that I said at the top of when I entered the show, it's the worst built one by a mile, and the only intrigue is the outside the ring stuff.
Yeah.
So like, where do they go from here? I don't know. That's more of like a meta dirt sheet result, I think, than anything, which is like not a healthy way to promote things. So I think they go Charlotte here, just to be like, hey, you beat someone that people kind of like, and people will think that you won the backstage politicking stuff. And I think they'll lean into that, get her over as a super duper heel. And, they need either a lot of call ups that pop real quick and someone dethrones her, or you need like the break glass in case of emergency and Becky comes out, and then we're in 2015 all over again, which is kind of its own negative in my opinion. But
that's where I'm at on this too. I think that they had a plan here with Charlotte Flair, and that plan was to kind of help bring along Tiffany Stratton, get her a good singles match, and it just didn't go that way. But I still think at the end of the day, they want the title on Charlotte. I think they want to do this Charlotte, chasing her dad's record thing, and I think that matters to them. And so to that end, I think that's what we're going to get. I think that's what we're going to get. And I think Charlotte's going to win. And then you go from there. But this has been, Adam, a really, really poor build in my eyes, and push back if you don't think so. But I just think it's been unprofessional. I think it's been not fun to watch. I think you've seen a performer in Charlotte that has lost her mojo a little bit. And I think you're watching somebody like Tiffany, who is an up and comer who's looking for a dance partner to be better than she's getting. And it's holding everything back. And then you have the real world issues of Charlotte, like not wanting to get out of the way and do business. And that doesn't help things either. So it just has been an absolute mess. And it starts and ends with Charlotte. It really does. But Tiffany has her role in this as well, and is to blame.
And this match, the build's been a complete train wreck. And it's hard to watch on a couple different levels, not just from the entertainment value of it. It just hasn't been good. But I also think we're watching somebody who's having some issues outside of the ring, not just with the marriage, but with the pressures of being on television. Like, I have a lot of empathy for Charlotte because, I mean, I don't like to talk about people's looks, but I mean, she's changed so much about herself, and it's sad to see. And it's carrying over in her confidence when she talks, when she gives a promo, and that's just contributing to the train wreck of all this. Is when you have empathy for the human being outside of the character, and Tiffany wasn't ready for this level of a spot. Maybe, she can do a couple of glitzy, flippy moves, but she's not women's main event WrestleMania level performer yet. And it's glaring. It's glaring to see. And to me, I don't care who wins. Let's just get this over with and move on. But it'll probably be Charlotte. I think for the same reasons that you guys said which is too bad for Tiffany. She really turned into her first title reign kind of a transitional, just a bridge to get it to Charlotte. But hopefully she can bounce back. But I don't have a lot of faith with the way that Triple H has booked the women's division over the last 18 months or so. It has not been good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you're seeing the fruits of that labor here with two women's matches that aren't in great spots for the world titles, and then I guess you've got this Jade Naomi thing, which is fine, but you want the top of your card to be humming right now, and it's not with in the women's division. Good stuff. Adam, thank you so much for joining the show, man.
Thank you for having me on,
it's been
guys.
a blast. We'll do it again soon. Thanks so much
Appreciate
for your membership and your support.
If you guys were nervous about having me on, I hope I didn't say or do anything to mess up. I was trying to be on my best behavior, especially with my language.
Yeah. Well, we need to do a Patreon version where we can go crazy.
Yeah.
I am 100% down for that.
Thank you, man. We appreciate
Thank you guys.
And have a good
And everybody that's listening, if you're not a member, join. You won't regret it.
Appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right. We are big thanks to Adam. Big thanks to Adam. Big thanks for all his support and for his contributions to Brass Ring Media. And he's a big Discord guy, and he carries a lot of the conversation with others. And it's awesome. We're going to bring Sean on here in a minute.
Do I need to wear a hat? Everybody's wearing a hat tonight but me.
Yeah, man. Where's your hat at, dude? Jeez.
Put my Cavs hat on. Since I saw everyone's got a hat, I was like, that's why I left. I went and grabbed a hat.
Oh, that is like, that's a beautiful hat. God, I want one of those. That's Chicago Bulls, man. I really do.
You need an honorary fan. It's got a flat bill, so I look like I'm a little kid now.
So good. So good.
Can't handle it. Just forgot I had a hat. So.
All right, let's we're gonna do Gunther versus Jey Uso, and then we're gonna bring in Sean Plicta, another member, to do the main event and kick us off starting night 2 of WrestleMania and talk preview that as well. So, World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther defending against Jey Uso. I think that this match may very well be the most or the farthest apart that you and I have been on analyzing a wrestling match since we started working together. Like I think we're just not in the same zone on this. So go ahead, you take it first.
Yeah, I tipped your hand in case you're going to talk about this ahead of time.
I already told everybody that you've already been texting me about this.
Yeah. That like the Jey promo last night, that was like such a whimper of a finish for like a feud, and just the structure of it, where Gunther comes out first, they like don't even interact. And then Jay's out there on the table. They like do the yeet thing twice. It's like a band when they only have one song, like the band Europe, where they would open and close with the final countdown. There's a band in the space in like.
Wait, is that real? Is that true?
True.
Oh,
and there's band. Do you know the band 303? They had like a hit in like 2008. They're like in the whatever. It's a whole thing. I looked at their set list recently. Their hit song is opening and closing the show as well. Limp Bizkit does break stuff twice. I saw them live. It's that kind of situation, I think, for Jey Uso, where you're kind of a flash in the pan and a vibe, but not a long, sustainable character. That's where I am. This hasn't changed it. The fact that his mom's in the crowd and they don't even have her like to show her, I think was like a miss too, on like the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then the Gunther stuff I think has been like atrocious since he lost to Cody Rhodes. Like the entire character arc has really been a disservice to him. If you look at just like WWE in general, we talked about the women's division. I think the like usage of Drew and Damian Priest and Gunther has been mismanaged to like get those guys as over as they should be at this point, make this WrestleMania feel a little bit more impactful. So there's like a lot going through my head when I do this. And yes, like the blood, the juice that Jimmy did to get this over. And then like the follow-up was too little too late for me, but I'm glad they did it. So I'm not like totally over this. I just like this is a lot for me, like Tiffany and Charlotte, where I don't really care who wins because I don't think it's sustainable going forward, whoever does win. So that's my big, like, trying to think of it beyond this. Like, it'll be a fun moment where all those people do that. And, like, that's going to be Jay's entire career in a nutshell. Like, he'll be in when he gets a Hall of Fame spot in 15 years, that's going to be, like, the moment you remember. So it's important for that aspect. And it's a highlight on the Saturday version of the show. But I think the build has been lacking based on what it could have been.
Yeah, I think they needed to, in the end, be more just outright and clear on the story of like that 5-week middle of this of the build here, because that's where it really kind of like fell off, even for me. Now I think they saved it, and I'll get into that in a minute. But that 4-week, 5-week period in the middle where it was just attack, and they're going to attack Jey. Like, I think they needed to be more overt on relating those happenings back to the initial promo about when Gunther like told Jey, "Hey man, if you pick me, I'm going to make your life a living hell for weeks and weeks, every week until WrestleMania." Like, I think that, like, when I look back, I'm like, well, that's what they were going for, but they just weren't effective in connecting those two things. It felt like, oh, we're just doing the same thing over and over again. But I think you needed to be more overt. And I think if they were, the stuff that happened at the end would have landed better than it did. Now, I loved the Gunther promo yesterday. I am like in love with that promo that he cut to open the show. Like, I wrote about it and I was like, man, that's a go home heel promo. You don't see those too often. And that's what this was. Like, this was like Gunther. I thought he did a great job of kind of walking the line of like being unhinged and being pushed out of his comfort zone by Jey telling him like, "Hey dude, I'm not afraid of you anymore." And like, you had Gunther out there, in my mind, overcompensating for that. Like, I'm off kilter because Jey said that. And then at the same time, he's showing a little bit of that weakness, but also talking up a big game and just building that mountain for Jey to climb in the match. So I thought I really liked this thing. And I disagree with you in the fact that Gunther, and we talked about it on the show, lost his mojo during the Cody Rhodes feud and after it. He just did. He lost some of that edge. He lost some of the, I don't know, just the swagger that he had. I think he got some back here with this program with Jey, and it's going to be short lived because I think I'm going to predict Jey is going to win the title.
What?
So it's short lived, but I think he kind of got some of that back. So I'm taking Jey. I'm a bigger fan of this than you are, even though I think you're right to say it doesn't have staying power. Like, I don't think you're going to be talking about Jey Uso as the champion, at next year's WrestleMania. But like we talk about all the time on the show, you don't need to have title reigns that always last a year, and I don't think this one will. But I did like what they did. So who are you taking? Are you taking Jey too? Because I also will throw out there was a time a few weeks ago where we're like, Jey's not winning the world title. Like, that totally is not going to happen based on what we've seen so far. But I think they've gotten it to the point where you can do a title change now.
Yeah, I think I think if I had to make one pick of what I feel the most confident with on this whole card, both nights, it'd be Jey winning the title here. I think it's like a foregone conclusion. Yeah. One thing, if we're going to make this like a paid segment for, I don't know what company would get behind this, but the Tyler Wet Blanket Award for like match that I think is going to like really suck in the ring. Like I was like drumming hard last year for Rhea and Becky not being a classic in the ring, right?
True. Yep. You were right on that, though. You were right on that.
Yeah, just like when people don't mesh, whatever. I think this is going to be like 20 minutes, and I think it's going to feel long. And that's like a lot of what I'm worried about too. And like where it is on the card, like I hope it opens for its sake. If it's like kind of in the middle, or if they try and do like an AEW co-main event thing, I do think this is like could be pretty quiet for like 10 minutes because you just know what both guys offer in the ring. And that's not saying Gunther's a bad wrestler by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying that. It's just like I know the story, and I wonder if Jey can sell it enough. That's my concern. I'm going with Jey to win the match.
Valid concern, Mr. Wet Blanket, but Adam says here, I will say when I was on screen, that was a lot of good looking on screen. Hey, I agree. I don't know if our audience agrees, but I certainly do. Thanks, Adam. All right, so we're both taking Jey. Let's bring on another one of our Brass Ring Media Gold members, Sean Palikta. Sean, dude, you got the Cubby hat on, Cubby blue. I love it. Welcome to the show, man.
Do you love it, Zach? I'm just gonna lie to the audience.
Zach, you don't love it. Come on, you don't.
I don't hate it. I'm a Sox fan, you guys. Look, my fandom is up for grabs. Okay, it is up for grabs.
Well, I'm mad because 2016 Game 7 of the World Series in Cleveland, it rained, and that stopped us from winning a World Series, and it gave you guys the opportunity to win. So
that rain, man, that did it.
We took it no matter what. We still took it. So
that's
all that matters.
I'll be mad at the Cubs hat if Zach won't, even though it's his crosstown rival.
Seriously, like they're not. Like I'm telling you, they're not that big of a rival. Like the Sox are an embarrassment. Go Cubs.
First, I'll say, thank you for having me on, of course. But I consider you guys friends. I knew you obviously far before this. I appreciate what you guys do. Even if I disagree, I appreciate it. I love the conversation. Zach, congratulations on the SI stuff. It's cool. The Rhea Ripley interview was really fun. I really enjoyed that. Everything you guys do is fun. I mean, it's just fun to banter back and forth. Thanks for having me on again.
Dude, thanks for being here. Thanks for your support all the years. One of our founding members right there. So appreciate you, Sean. Guys, let's dive in and let's finish off night one and let's look at Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. It's a triple threat match. Paul Heyman is going to be in the corner of CM Punk. Punk cashing in his favor. Sean, throw to you first on this one. What do you think of the story that they've told here? And do enough of the WWE fan base care who wins?
To answer the latter, yes, I do think they care who wins. I think ultimately, I think you said in your article, I just read it actually today. And you said, who do we think we care? Who's like looking? Who are we rooting for? I mean, I think Punk's the one you're rooting for ultimately. I think Punk looks like the best out of all of them. Especially last night, he said, I'm your friend, Paul. I care about you. He tried to make sure he was okay after he got pushed by Roman. And I mean, I think he's the one you ultimately want to have win. I think the build has been good. I'd say I'm not a fan of triple threats. I think this could have been easily a one-on-one match, and that's what again takes it down a little bit for me with the build. But they all have reasons why they don't like each other, which I liked. If you're going to have a triple threat, have a story built in of why these guys don't like each other, and all three don't like each other for different reasons, and that's fun. That's interesting. I think Seth coming out and saying the stuff he did last night about I didn't like him saying it's best for business unless he is going heel, because I just hate that line. I just when they used it, but it was funny in the moment. I think the story overall is good. Like because ultimately, you're trying to decide, even though Seth made good reasons why Paul is not really a likable guy, because he's went with different people. He's turned on everybody he's been with for different reasons. He kind of is, in some ways, a quote-unquote scumbag. He kind of is, We love him, but he is. He turns on people at the drop of a hat. So who is he going to turn on? Who's he ultimately going to go with? That's kind of the story they're building into, of course. And I think the more I look at this and the more I think about it, it didn't make sense initially, but the more it's making sense now. I think they're going to have Heyman go with Seth. I think Seth's going to win this match. I think Seth has been more serious in his promos lately, which I'm liking. I was against him turning heel initially because I think the fans ultimately do really like Seth. I mean, he dresses outlandishly. Some of the stuff, kind of doesn't do a lot for me, but it is what it is. The fans sing his song, but I think the fans ultimately really like him. But at the same time, he has reasons to make you want to hate him. But I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I think I like what they've done here. As a triple threat, I like the build. I think it's been fun. I think they're telling some intricate stories with all three guys. And I think they're leaning Seth. I don't know who he pins. That's interesting to me, who he pins. I would like to see him pin Roman just because Punk. I mean, now Punk could lose a triple threat, and it's not going to hurt him because ultimately, I think Punk's going to win a big match later on down the road, wherever they're going to go. But I'm intrigued by this, and I think Seth's ultimately going to win. I think he is going to turn heel, and I'm intrigued by to make it make sense of why Heyman would go to him ultimately.
That's good stuff, Tyler. I have a feeling you're going to be in a similar camp on this, but I don't know for sure. What do you think?
Come on, Tyler,
like,
join the train. Join the train.
Do enough people do fans care who wins this? Like it's for the soul of the company, as Seth said. And yesterday, before I toss to you fully, one of the things that I've been critical of this build, as you guys both know, and I'll get into a little bit more of that in a second. But I did like that Seth finally put some, unofficial stakes to the match. Like the winner of this match is going to define, the direction of this company moving forward. Like it's not really real or true, but at least it's like some kind of a talking point where you feel like something is on the line, albeit kind of this intangible thing. So that I did like that. But Tyler, same question. What do you think of the build to this match? Is it a worthy way to main event a WrestleMania? And did WWE do enough to make you care about the outcome?
Yeah. So I'm going to ask both of you a question, and then I'll get into that.
Okay.
So we'll start with Sean.
Okay.
As not as an analyst for both of you. This is like you watching as a fan, right? Sean, who do you want to win? When you're watching on Saturday night, who you like going to stand up and fist bump if they win this match?
I would Punk for me. Punk.
Yeah. And Zach, how about you?
Same.
Okay, because I'm, believe it or not, Seth. Anyone that listens to me is probably shocked by that. I know. But I think I'm just like totally. So like as a build, I think it does work because I think if you pull different types of fans, there's somebody that they've aligned with in this story, right? Because Seth, that's his mission statement for this match. Punk's is a selfish one, I think, but that's my perspective as a fan of like, this is his main event, his first WrestleMania main event. He wants to win it, right? And then Roman, same sort of story of like, hey, I just main event WrestleManias. That's all I really care about. And that's kind of his character at the moment, right? So it's like whoever you want. I think it works because it probably would be like 33, 33, 33, or like 40, 20, 30, something like that, right? On like the ratio of people, or just 20, 40, 30, 30. To get my math right, of like if you polled every WWE fan that walked in that building, I'd be curious what the pie chart would be if they could vote on.
That's interesting, yeah.
So I think it works because of that. But I think they've laid it out pretty clearly to me of like if you watch Heyman's facials, like he was done with Roman before that push. Like he's totally agreeing with Punk and all, or with Seth and all the things he was saying about Roman. And the Punk stuff is, yeah, I mean, it's babyface. If it's not disingenuous, then I think it's more interesting if he's disingenuous to Paul and he turns heel here. I think it's the one thing that swerve that you could. If Punk does win, I think he turns on Paul and is a heel. Because like I think whoever wins this,
interesting. Okay,
is, I mean, if I'm booking it, I'm 20% sure that whoever wins this match is challenging Jey for the world title on Monday. And you want that person to be a heel to do that. But the thing that's hard about it is like at the end of that show, what are people doing as Seth just stomped both CM Punk and Roman? They're doing the song. Like they're still into him. So I think whoever wins this is not necessarily unless you go crazy here. But I think if you want someone to like, someone's got to be a heel in that moment to take it off Jey that Monday night as the main event of the Raw after WrestleMania. So that's like where I think they're going. We're going to it soon. And like Seth is a guy that is going to be there for sure, week in and week out too. So that is like not to be understood here of who's going to win this.
Exactly.
And he can like pivot Punk. I would pivot Punk to John Cena at SummerSlam personally, not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but him winning this kind of derails that. So from like a meta standpoint, just a story they've told of Seth is the main character, in my opinion, at least the last 2 or 3 weeks of this story. I think that's an important note, but I think Heyman does align with him. And that's very interesting to me. I think it's interesting to Triple H as well.
I agree on Seth winning the match,
Yeah.
so I can't disagree with you on that. What I will just offer a different perspective on is, I like when you talk about okay, when you talk about like whoever wins this match, like turning heel,
Mhm.
that's where I just don't know that they've done enough to establish the other two guys as clear enough straight up baby faces to make that heel turn work. Like if you're Seth, to your point, Tyler, and you stomp Punk and stomp Roman, like Roman and Punk have been kind of like dicks to Seth, like during this build. Like you've had Punk like, put his arm around Paul Heyman while Roman's pulling up as if he's like, like he's trying to get under Roman's skin. I mean, that's not like a likable quality. You got Roman like, straight up just trashing Paul Heyman. You stupid for helping me, in war games. So if Seth like ends up doing that and siding with Paul Heyman, like I think there's a chance that may just get like straight up just approval from the crowd because it's Seth. He's the only one in this feud that I think is just spitting straight truth. Like, yeah, there is a part of Roman that was bad to Paul Heyman. Yeah, Punk, you're kind of this guy who is manipulating your own supposed best friend here because you want to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Nothing wrong about that. And so I think that he just may be standing tall at the end, song playing, Heyman and Rollins together, and you're kind of in this spot where he needs to be a heel, but he really isn't one. Sean, go ahead.
Well, they were trying to throw you off by, Seth almost went after Heyman too, though. Seth almost beat him up. If they wouldn't have come out, he would have beat him up. So that's not a likable quality either. It's not like, oh, I'm going
That's not either. True. Yes. Right.
So I don't know. Because for me, this is the ultimate weird part for me is I want Punk ultimately as a heel because I think Punk is better as a heel. But but I like Punk what he's doing right now as a face. So I'm like, why change that? Why do anything against that right now? The fans are completely behind him. More, I think it'd be 60% Punk to be honest. People love Roman, but I think they like Punk more than Roman right now at this point in time because Roman's not there.
We have a super chat on this, so let's get it. And I think Zach asked this super chat back when we were talking Tiffany and Charlotte, but it applies now too. So Zach, I apologize if I missed this earlier, but it certainly applies now. Zach says here, who will the crowd cheer for? And this is an interesting debate to have. Tyler, who do you think, like, who gets like the bigger pie of cheers? If you're putting money on it, if BetMGM was a sponsor of the show and we were plugging lines, like where would you put your cash?
Yeah, if they're tracking like chants of names or singing of Seth's song, etc.
Yes.
Well, it's not CM Punk because we're talking bell to bell here. He's going to be working like 13% of this match.
Yeah.
He's going to be out at ringside and selling injuries because he's not going to be working like Seth is going to be working a majority of this match between these guys. So if he's working face, he's going to get a lot of cheers. But the real answer here, that's like if you did like the actual betting version of it, like what the cheers are. It's obviously CM Punk. I think that's without a doubt. He's been most presented as a babyface in the story. It hasn't said much. I think that's key for like not trying to
keep him likable.
You said it, not me.
Don't talk.
Just keep getting your hair dyed every week before you come out there.
Don't talk. Sean, what do you think?
Oh, I think Punk. Definitely Punk. I think the fans like Punk more right now. Roman is a big star, but Roman's just not there all the time, and he's treating Heyman like a piece of junk for just because he's. Yeah. I haven't liked the way Roman's come off lately. Yes, he's a big star, but I haven't liked the way he's.
Yeah, his character has not changed since he's come back. He's still the rival chief. Like he's a heel character that people like. So, which is fine. I like that, but
I think you're going to see. I think the right way to book this is, and this is what I think will happen as well. I think that they're going to have Seth beat Roman because they have like an unfinished story there where Roman has not beaten Seth, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That's out there. And if you do that in this match, like not only does Heyman help Rollins win, but he helps Rollins beat his friend CM Punk, but also his, the tribal chief in Roman Reigns. You keep that storyline alive, and you keep alive this trilogy match between Seth and Punk down the road too. You don't have the visual of Seth beating Punk, in this. So I would seriously consider putting Seth over Roman here to keep all of that stuff up in the air. Sean, who do you think takes the fall?
Yeah, I think I said before, I think I'm with you. I think I would have Roman take the pin. Roman's fine. He can take a pin. It's not going to be
In a
it's not
triple
a big
threat,
deal at this point.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'd have Seth pin Roman as well. That's where I'd go.
Are we like near the end of this? Because I got like my sizzler on this match here.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, you know how you turn Seth heel.
No, I don't. I seriously don't. Go ahead.
I don't know either. How do you?
You have the final boss come out.
Oh, right.
He helped Seth win, and he's the final piece. That's going to get the crowd to boo the ever-loving bleep out of him.
That is
Heyman's
interesting.
Yeah.
And Heyman's with him. This whole thing just needs an angle at the end, right? As the main event. So I think that is certainly in the cards. Sorry if that's a spoiler for anybody. But it would also, like last year, which was successful, and Triple H likes to do things over again that are successful, which is fine. That's like a good way to book. It is that same sort of way of like where Cody ate the pin last year. It made you really think he was not going to win the next night and added the intrigue there. If you have The Rock come out and dictate who wins a world title in night one, you certainly think that's going to happen again in night two.
Yeah, I like it. That's a good angle. Yeah, and like, I guess that's kind of my...
Yeah, and pinning Roman, obviously, in that scenario, because then you set up like, Rock and Roman too.
Zach in the
Yeah,
chat.
that's true. Yeah.
Seth pinning Roman. Someone check what's in Zach. What's in
my cup too? What's
water.
in my cup, Zach?
Water. It's water, and it's brilliance on the part of Sean and myself. Thanks, Zach. All right, it's night one. That's night one, gentlemen. Let's move over to night two, guys. And this is the Brass Ring Media Podcast. If you're joining us mid-show, we just finished previewing WrestleMania Saturday. We're going to move on to WrestleMania Sunday. Thank you if you tuned in on YouTube and if you're on Twitter X watching. We appreciate it. We got live chat open. Super chats are open if you want to get your comments in or question in, or just say, hey, I want you to talk about this for a hot second. We can do that. Any contribution helps. We do appreciate it, and we thank you in advance. Also want to point our listeners to our Patreon, Brass Ring Media on Patreon, patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. We offer membership. We've got one of our members here right now, Sean Palikta. He's a gold member, and our gold members join the shows on a monthly or thereabouts clip, and it's super good to have Sean here, and we had Adam on a little bit earlier. And you can get your membership now on Patreon. $4 gets you access to all the content. Gold membership is more, but gets you unlimited super chats and FaceTime on the actual show. So check it out. We offer a lot. We will do what we can and all we can to earn your business and make it worth your while, and I thank you in advance for considering. Night two looks like this. The women's tag team championships are on the line. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez take on and defend against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. We have a Sin City street fight. Damian Priest against Drew McIntyre. Fatal four-way match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor versus Penta. We got Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. A triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. And then the night two main event, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. Guys, let's start with the tag team match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria.
Really, Zach?
Sean, you're shaking your head, so I'll throw to you first. What's up?
What's up?
Go ahead.
Oh, well, so, I mean, you come on, the tag really no. I mean, it's fine. I mean, Liv has been, I'll say, Liv has been fantastic as a heel. She's been tremendous. I love everything she's doing as a heel. The face was way not good at all. Nothing about it was good for me. The heel, I'm digging. Raquel's, she's Raquel. She's getting a little better. Just kind of being alongside Liv kind of makes her feel a little bit more of a thing, even though her matches just don't do it for me. But I mean, Bailey and Lyra, they had the two good matches for the women's IC title, which were fine, but just putting them together all of a sudden out of nowhere just to get them in a tag title match just is kind of what it is. It's like, okay, really? That's what we're doing for Mania? Just, I mean, the women's tag titles just haven't felt very important for pretty much the length they've been around. And so I think Liv and Raquel have been okay with them. I just think there's not a lot of good, tag teams to be built up for them to go against. And this match will be fine. I think the work will be good. I think the character work will be good. Lyra, to me, I think has potential in the future. I think like I said, my heart was for Dakota to win the IC title just because I think Dakota has more character she can build on. Where Lyra, Zach, Tyler, there's nothing there, guys. There's nothing there with her as a character. I mean, she's good in the ring, but there's just nothing more that you can sink your teeth into. So the match will be fine for what it is. I see Liv and Raquel retaining because that's what they should do. There's no reason to put the title on a team that hasn't been together very long, hasn't been defined who they are together, and kind of an easy win for them. But I think the match will be okay for what it is.
Yeah, it's pretty much my analysis too. Like, I think this is a match you want to have on the card. If Morgan is a star for you, Bailey is a legacy act, and Lyra Valkyria is your champion. What's that?
Love Bailey.
Yeah, there's pieces of this that are good, but it is all very thrown together. I think the match could be really good, and I say that unexpectedly, but Raw last night, the Bailey versus Liv Morgan match last night was like just extremely physical and like unnecessarily so. Like, it seemed like that they wrestled that match. I wrote this in the Wrestling Media column on Substack, like that they wrestled that with like a chip on their shoulder, like they were to prove a point or something. Like, it just was like unnecessarily violent for just a random, singles match on Raw the show before WrestleMania. So if that's any indication, I think the match should be good. But this is a throwaway, and I don't think you take the titles off of Liv and Raquel right now either. So I'm going to take them. Tyler, what say you?
Yeah. Similar. I think it could be good in the when it gets in the ring, but there's not much to this from a build standpoint. It's a way to get Bailey on the show more than anything is what it feels like. But I do think it's the one that you use like, hey, we got 12 minutes. Let's like go balls to the wall and like all four of us like go as hard as possible. It could be like a sneaky, good in-ring match. Definitely like upper 6 matches, like bell to bell on this, 2-night card. So I hope for that. But beyond that, I don't think there's much going on here.
Derek in the chat brings up a really interesting point, and I think he's right. Says Liv seems to have found her groove as a bell-to-bell wrestler. She's no longer a liability in there when the bell rings. Wrestling has become an asset for her instead of a hindrance. I agree. I thought you saw that. I mean, you've seen that for much of this year and towards the back half of last too. This wasn't Liv, in a feud with Ronda Rousey, but like she has found something here. Like, she's added to her game with her in-ring work. And, I don't think, look, she's not the second coming of Mercedes Moné, but she's a good WWE wrestler. She can do what they do in there. And that's the company that she's in. So that's good. All right, let's keep it moving here. Sin City Street Fight, Damian Priest against Drew McIntyre. I love this match. I think this is going to be a fun, really good brawl between Drew and Damian. I think, I like to see guys wrestle who, just in a meta sense, like these guys both like were in the championship picture throughout the year, kind of got relegated to this like mid-tier spot. They're going to get time. I think this is going to be really good. And I think they've taken, a storyline that was just kind of like, all right, you guys go ahead and do this, and turned it into something that can matter. If you talk about the winner of that CM Punk match, being somebody that faces Jey Uso for the world title, these guys I think could be in a world title match at some point in 2025 too. And so I've just liked what they've done here. I think both guys have stayed true to their characters. They're both intense. They're both badasses. Like this is going to be really fun. So I think Drew wins. I think he's still the guy that you want to protect and do something with, whether that's a Cody feud whilst John Cena's champion or something else. It just seems like he's a guy that needs a WrestleMania W, man. I mean, he's done a lot of jobs at WrestleMania, so he needs a win, and I think he gets it here. Tyler, why don't you go first? What do you think about this match and who wins?
Yeah, very fun, right? Kind of like, it's like the main event of night one, but without the star power in comparison, right?
Yeah.
They're really not fighting for anything, but it's like a good feud. It's a singles match. They'll have some fun table spots, etc. Where it is on the card is key. But yeah, I mean, both these guys have earned this. And this is a big spot, right? If you're a male pro wrestler and you're in a singles match at WrestleMania, I mean, that's pretty impressive for both of them. So it's still a spot to be on the card. But yeah, I love the idea of like Drew and Cody too as a feud.
Yeah.
I really hope that Drew wears the eye patch in the match. I know he won't, but that'd be awesome.
I hope he does.
So I know it's hard to do, but man, that'd be so awesome if he did. But yeah, I like both these guys. I like what they're doing. They've not made lemonade out of a situation, but I think a lot of wrestlers could feel like it's a downgrade. And especially without Randy and Kevin Owens, this kind of scratches that itch for me. I think they would have been on different nights because they feel similar. On like, hey, here's like a good feud between two guys that's going to be like a banger of a match. So yeah, I think Drew wins as well, but I'm very excited for this. This like top five. Yeah. This is like when I asked that question, when I can't enter, this is one that makes the cut easily for me if this is a 7-match card at one night.
Sean, what do you think? Who wins?
Yeah, so I've loved everything about this. Number one, starting from WrestleMania last year, like I love the way they've built into this, where Drew wins the title. He gets all happy-go-lucky, all Punk. Look at what I got. Look at what I got. And Priest said, "Screw you! I'm coming and cashing in my Money in the Bank, and I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to win it." And Drew, yes, he's a great heel. He makes compelling points of why you should believe him, but he's arrogant. He's a jerk. So of course I'm going to still not like what he's saying and not agree with what he's saying. Where Damian is a badass, makes the points right back, to why we should not agree with Drew and why, and it's just great the way the vignettes were great the last couple weeks. I like what Damian has done. I'm more of a fan of Damian. I think a lot of people are. I like what he's done. I think he's turned into a really fun character. Yeah, I mean, other than the Bad Bunny stuff, which was good, other than that, I felt like there were times where it was kind of like, but the Gunther stuff I thought was good. And I've liked what he's done with Drew in the last year. So I like where they've gone with this. I think where you went with, I just think Drew cannot lose. I mean, it would be a travesty if Drew loses this match. You just can't go that route. Drew is too good. There's too much good stuff. And like you said, Tyler, we got to have Drew Cody soon. Like, we have to. Like, that build to that match would be just absolutely phenomenal in every way. So I think this match has been well built. I think it's going to be fun. I think Drew should win.
Drew's all around. I love it. Okay, the Intercontinental title on the line. It's a fatal 4-way, another multi-person match. Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor versus Penta. I see this pretty straightforward. And I think I'm Mr. Cold Blanket on this one because I think there's fun stuff that you could do. Like Dom winning, I think could be interesting. Same thing with Penta. It's an easy way to get the title off of Braun Breaker because you've got the multi-person factor. I just kind of think this is going spear, pin. I think Breaker's winning this. I think he's winning definitively. Now, I amend that if for some reason he's hurt because he was holding his knee at the end of Raw.
I was worried about that too myself.
Yeah, it didn't look great, but there's no news out as to what if anything happened, or if there anything serious like is wrong. So if he's injured, obviously, they might pivot on this. But if he's healthy, spear, retain. Tyler, where are you at?
Do you want to talk like betting odds on this?
Yes.
Sure. Why not? Not on everything, but on this one, yeah.
I know on this one, just because it's important. Dom is the favorite. I looked it
Really?
up.
Okay.
Yeah. So that tells me there might be a little something there. Or it could be a lose to up the card for Braun. Because, like, let's say Gunther loses, I'm down for a Braun and Gunther feud.
Yes, there you go. Yes, that could work.
So you could, like, lose and up the card, and that gives you something to do with Judgment Day in the process. So, yeah. That's just interesting to me. And it'd be, like, a moment to, like, they've slow played the Dom thing. I mean, he was way over, and it's like now he can actually talk on the mic and not get booed out of the building. So it might be time to, like, have him screw over guy and get him back in that spot where he's he's the Miz essentially, and that's not a negative. Miz had a long, fruitful career as like a chicken bleep heel. So
I think like I kind of think if Dom wins this match and he does so Dom like over Finn Balor, I think he might get like a babyface pop.
He could.
I think that's
It's
a
possible.
possibility.
yeah, certainly. I think if he like screws over Braun, you don't. But it's a choice, definitely. There's a reason to put both those guys in the match, and it's like, I think that's also very important too. Of like why Dom has a real contender, like easily the second most likely guy to win, right? If it's not Braun Breaker.
I think so. What? Let me get to a couple chats here, Sean, and then I'll throw to you here. Andrew H says, "I would love if he did, as long as they have a long-term plan for Braun." Yeah, and Andrew, it's a great point, and I think that they clearly do have a long-term plan for Braun. Like he's a guy who gets a focus and attention, and it's just not time for him in the spot that they want him to be in. But that's coming, and it's coming sooner than later.
Yeah.
Sean, what do you think? Or Tyler, wait, are you officially taking Dominic Mysterio?
I'll take Dom just because Zach is going to be excited.
Yeah. Oh, it will. It will. Tyler, going back to what you said about if Braun doesn't get pinned and loses the title, and he goes up against Gunther the next feud or next big feud. My issue with that, just going back to Gunther Jey really quick, I know you already talked about it, but if Gunther loses, which I'm not a fan of, I would not do, and I might be on a podcast later this week with a female we all know very well. Could be possible. Check it out. Might happen. Just throwing that out there. But if Gunther loses, I just don't like where Gunther is because I just think you have Braun and Gunther where Gunther's just lost a bunch, and I don't think it. I mean, it helps Braun because he beats Gunther. But I just don't like Gunther losing that much. So I would not want that if it were me personally. But I see what you're saying. That would be a great feud. I mean, I would be invested in it. But with this match, I know why they did it. They've interweaved the story of the Judgment Day kind of falling apart. Are they going to be together? What are we going to do with all these guys? What's Finn going to do? What's Dom going to do? Dom's still been good as a heel. Love what he's doing as a heel. I mean, Penta, I thought about, well, maybe Penta could win this. And maybe try to just do something with him, maybe kind of build him up a little bit. But I don't know how it really fits into what they're doing. I don't think they're going to go that route. I think they're just going to have Braun win because I just think they could still build up good stuff for Braun in the future with him still keeping the title for a while. Like I don't know. None of the other guys, even as good as they all are, I don't think it helps them really winning the IC title. I mean, Dom, it could, but I just don't think they're going to do that with him at this point. I think maybe down the line they might try to do something, but I don't think they're ready for that yet. So I would go Braun just winning and building with something with him. But I think it's a fun match. I mean, the match is going to be fun. I think there's going to be a lot of good storytelling in the match. I think they could do some fun stuff all the way around. But yeah, I would go Braun just retaining here.
I would say on the Gunther point before we move on, I think you like Gunther more than Triple H likes Gunther.
I know, and I don't get it. I don't see what there's not to love. I don't get it.
I'm with you.
Also, if Finn Balor comes out as the Demon, I think all bets are off too.
All bets are off.
It might be a surprise, and that would be like a fun, like rekindle Finn Balor moment too, which would be pretty sweet.
I mean, if that happens, he's winning the IC title. So look out. Zach, super chat from Zach Barber says Dom should be in the same title lineage as Kurt Hennig, Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels. Come on, guys. Hey, I'm glad you see, Zach, that you finally come around on.
You did it, Zach. We're proud of you. We're proud of you.
It's so good to see.
Yeah. Who else do we got in there? Ezekiel Jackson. Who else? There's some bad IC champions too.
There is. And Dom or Zach, I know you meant Dom shouldn't be, but you wrote should, so I'm gonna take you as face value. And
I'm gonna find
tell the world that you've come around.
I'm gonna find some bad Intercontinental champions while you're doing the next match.
Yeah. So Dom, I just want to Zach says here, you know what I meant? Yeah, I do.
We do.
There have been some bad Intercontinental champions, Zach. I mean, Kurt Hennig, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. That's like cream of the crop. Wasn't Ahmed Johnson like IC champion? Like
I think he was
something like that. Like
he was not good. He was not good. Dom would be better than Ahmed Johnson. Zach,
yeah.
sorry.
There's a lot of bad guys who've been
91
bad
champions. So.
Awesome, Sean. Thank you so much. We're gonna breeze through the rest of this, dude. Man, look, it's WrestleMania week. I asked Adam this. I want to ask you too before you ride off in the sunset here. Any WrestleMania week traditions or WrestleMania traditions in terms of just what do you do to celebrate the WrestleMania holiday?
Nothing specific. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I'm actually I think last year I went to a friend's house. This Sunday, I don't like it's Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Again, nothing for. I'm not getting religious here. I go to church, but that's beside the point. I will still watch it, obviously, because I mean it's WrestleMania. But I'll be going to a friend's Sunday, so that's what I try to do. If I have a friend that I can get with, we'll order some food and just hang out and just watch it, and so it's gonna be fun. But guys, thank you. I appreciate everything you do, like I said, and I'll hope to be on again soon. I'll always be in the chat, so you never have to worry about that. So
awesome, man. Thank you so much, Sean. Man, it's a blast talking wrestling with you as always, and enjoy the week. You too, man. Enjoy time in Vegas, my friend. Yes. Think 21s. Appreciate you, Sean. All right, Tyler. We're on the home stretch.
Yep, we'll go quick. Just Ryback and who else? And Zack Ryder were also Intercontinental champions. So just keep that in mind in the lineage.
There you go.
Ezekiel Jackson he won a Capital Punishment 2011 where they had the fake Obama. And that's where
Capital Punishment. God dang.
And that's I think the one where R-Truth took on John Cena in the main event. So.
In the main event, yeah, that was. That event never saw the light of day again. Just FYI. FYI. All right. Logan Paul against AJ Styles. This is an easy one for me to predict. This is Logan Paul goes over. And I think it's the right move. I really do. Like if Logan Paul is going to be a card that you play, throughout the year if you're WWE, he's got to win sometimes so that he can lose against bigger opponents other times. And I think this is that happening. So I think this actually could be a really good match. And Logan Paul has been training for it. I think the pomp and circumstances is going to be fun to see with him and WrestleMania, but this is an easy one to predict. I'm more confident about this than I am about really anything else, but I think Logan wins.
Yeah. I hope Tony Heathcliff, is that his name? The To Kill Tony guy. I certainly hope he's on commentary because I've loved every interaction that Logan Paul and that guy have had on the show. So, can't wait for this one.
And taking Logan, or are you taking are you going to?
Yeah, whatever. I actually would probably put this at 14 of all my anticipated matches. So, but yeah, that's just me personally.
This would be my 14 too. Actually,
I don't care about this at all. I don't really care about AJ Styles at this point either. I think he's like kind of not a character at this point. I want him to be in a hair match. I think that'd be actually like you could like main event a pay-per-view for that guy's hair on the line.
You could
like maybe Jericho comes into WWE sometime early next year, and that's like a WrestleMania match. It's like they both fight for their hair. I'm not kidding. I think that'd be like my most anticipated match at WrestleMania 42.
Man, that's wild. I mean, because they could pull that off. I mean, they could. I mean, AJ's got the hair right now. Sean says here in the chat here, AJ is so underappreciated for the career that he has had. He is, but I mean, I don't know that he is. Part of me thinks that he's like right where he should be. Like, I think I don't know. I think he's had some good matches in WWE. He's had long title runs in WWE on multiple different occasions. He's come and put a company on his back with TNA. He's had a run in Japan. I mean, I think he's a guy that is going to like made his mark on the industry. And I think people see him that way. I don't know. Sean, I think maybe you're not as being as dramatic about it as I'm making it out to be, but I think that he gets good accolades for what he is. And the thing is, I don't think people go overboard with it either. I mean, he's like kind of a journeyman guy, but I think he's now a WWE guy through and through. I don't know, Tyler, what do you think about that? And also the question I was going to ask you when I brought this up is, do you think, how many more WrestleManias do you think AJ has?
Can you give me his age real quick? Was he like 49?
Yeah, I think he's like 47 or 48 up there. But
yeah,
he's got mileage on him, man.
Yeah, on the legacy thing, I think like at the end of the day, they're different ages, but I think AJ and like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are in similar boats.
There you go.
Like,
yeah.
Legacy, and like I think that's like a pretty good comp for all of them. That's like if I'm a wrestler, that's the kind of wrestler I'd rather be them than Randy Orton from like a legacy standpoint of like a wrestling fans. You know, they're like your favorite wrestler, right? For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Did you get an age on him?
47.
47.
I bring that up not so much about the age thing, but like
how long is he in WWE? Do you think he's like finishing out there, or is he a guy who like takes the money and does like an AEW thing?
I don't think so. I think he finishes out in WWE, and then I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the CM Punk led NXT regime at some point. Like I think he's like a lifer WWE guy. Andrew H says here he's already said he's retiring in 2 years. But mainly what I meant is he's kind of in the boat to me of like a little bit like Randy Orton in that he's done everything. Like what do you do with him? You know, I mean, like what do you do? Like what does Randy Orton do now? Like, you know, I mean, you're not going to put the title on him, but he's wrestled everybody multiple times. And AJ's kind of in that boat too. Plus, you know, what AJ doesn't like, there's not as big of a drop off for Randy in the ring because it wasn't that high to begin with in terms of like what he does. But with AJ, so much of what he does is physical, like in-ring stuff that obviously you can't do it at 48 like you could at 28. Not possible. So he's got a battle with that, whereas somebody like, you know, Orton doesn't have to.
Yeah, I mean, I think you put him in a tag team if you care about your tag team division.
Right there, yeah, that works. That works.
Right. We'll see.
Io Sky versus Bianca Belair.
We make picks on
that. On what?
On that match, I'm picking Logan. I don't think I made a pick on that. So I think you did.
Oh yeah, Logan. Yeah, no, I have you down for Logan. Yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
The women's world title. Goodness gracious. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley in the battle for who can be least likable as a babyface.
For the soul of WWE.
For the soul of the WWE Women's Division.
Who will Paul Heyman choose?
Yeah. What have you thought about this? They didn't even try last night on Raw, on the Go Home Raw, to give it anything else other than some pre-tapes. They played it very safe with that. Pre-tapes from Bianca, pre-tape from Io, pre-tape from Rhea. None of them were in front of the audience on the live show. Played it safe. Probably the right call because I think this was on fumes to begin with and just didn't have anywhere to go that was good. It could only just go down more. You know me. I've hated this and I've hated it from the beginning, and nothing they've done, even in an attempt to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt throughout this, has landed. Rhea's unlikable and a totally different character at this point. Bianca Belair, same thing. They're both very catty towards the other. Io is benefiting most, but she's not the focus and won't be the focus coming out of this. So just a mess, just an absolute mess. And I think Bianca's going to win. I think they put Rhea back on the chase, and you get some big matches between Rhea and Bianca out of this. But they're damaged, and Rhea is definitely damaged in particular. And I think that's just a really befuddling way to kind of handle one of the biggest stars that you have in your company in Rhea Ripley. But I'll take Bianca. But man, buying a vowel on this one because I don't know what they were thinking.
I'm going to go with Io just to be a little different here. I I don't, the video last night of her being like, I'm the champion and I'm not going to take a backseat to this anymore is quite the choice. I mean, that's like the analysis you and I were doing, and just like blatantly use that in the promo was quite something. It tells you where they think they are on it. But I think it's just better for both Bianca and Rhea to like not have the title, because like I don't know what is next for whoever wins this thing, right? If it's Rhea, you can have her take on Charlotte, and then like it'll be like, okay, get that thing off Charlotte, and at least Rhea's going to be cleared to do that, right? That's whoever takes, like if Charlotte wins, like whoever takes that thing off of her is like a babyface for a year, no matter what they do. Right?
That's true. Yes.
So,
yeah.
So that'll help like reestablish her, and then Bianca and Jade does not need to be for the title. So I think that's better off that way. But and then EO can take it on like a Liv Morgan or something like that, and it's like still somewhat fresh of a match. So that just makes sense from a booking perspective. But yeah, all three are lesser, and Rhea's the most affected, then EO, and then Bianca's probably the least affected on the negativity of this match. But yeah, probably the worst build without any stuff around it of this entire pay-per-view. I think the Tiffany and Charlotte stuff might be actually like hurt both of their careers if all that stuff was real. But from a character standpoint, I think this literally hurt everybody. Yeah, and that's kind of impressive. Like if you tried to do that, I think you'd have a hard time.
I agree, dude. I agree wholeheartedly. Like this has been a disaster, and it is the worst build match on the show on both nights. I mean, I don't think there's even a question about it. But I like the EO thing, and really like if they go with the storyline here and they finish the story out, EO should win, because the story is the two of them are preoccupied with the other one, and they're dismissing and overlooking EO. Well, like the end of that story is EO coming out on top. I think. I don't think they're going to go that way, but I think it's not a bad way to go. Just given what they've done.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have here the main event, the night 2 main event: Cody Rhodes against John Cena, the undisputed WWE Championship. We got one more chapter in this. Both guys are going to be on the show on SmackDown. So we don't know what that final chapter is. There's a lot in this, and there's a lot not in it that I think should be in it that wasn't. Let me start with what I liked first. I think Cody's looked pretty good in this. I think he's come across as an equal to John Cena. I think, you finally have him in a position where he's main eventing WrestleMania on his own. He's not with Roman. He's on his own, holding it down. And I think he's looked the part in that. I think Cena, has been a mixed bag as far as like being a heel. I think like he started off good, and I thought he had his moment with the fans. It's clear he's invested in this. He's not joking around. He's not being all jokey John Cena. That has been helpful because I think it gives the feud and his heel turn a element of seriousness that he obviously needs to bring to this if he's going to be a heel. I think they left a lot on the table, particularly with the freaking Rock, who after 5 weeks or whatever it's been since Elimination Chamber has not been around or mentioned as part of this build. And
Cody said it once, right?
Or Cody, yes, he said it, but he hasn't. Yeah, he did. You're right. He did say it once. But to me, there was heat in the Rock and Cena together opposite Cody. Like that to me was like a clear avenue to get some heat on Cena for Cody's benefit, and they just didn't go that way. And so that was a missed opportunity for me to really like make this very, very impactful in terms of John Cena being absolutely hated by everybody. I do think at the same time, this lives up to a WrestleMania main event. I think it's got some key players. It's got a big time angle involved, your top star, your top title. So I still grade this as, above average, but I think they missed the boat on a lot that would have made Cena's heel turn great instead of just okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's was trying to see when they're filming this movie in Hawaii while you were talking. I don't think that's like happening. You know what I'm talking about, right? He's in
Yes.
the Scorsese movie.
Yeah.
So that's gonna take precedence over anything for him. He wants to have that kind of career as an actor. But I think
and by him you mean Rock.
The Rock, yes. Pronouns, pal. Thank you. I think it's all on purpose, as I alluded to in the main event of night one. I think like the less you talk about The Rock, the more surprising it is when he interacts with a match that is not his match, which is this one, right? And that's like a way to set up the sizzler for night two to be like, oh man, like I can't wait. Because like of a 2-night event, you have to get everyone to be like, man, I can't believe that happened. Like, what is night two going to entail, right? That's just like a booking one-on-one strategy here. So I think that is the purpose here for the lack of dialogue. You're also going to see a lot of Rock and John Cena together, I'm presuming. If Cena does win here as like a force that is like a multifaceted thing for Cody to go through. If Cena does retire at the end of the calendar year, then that's like a built-in main event for 42 if Rock can do it.
Yeah.
I think you like slow play that in this way is fine because this is Cody and Cena more than anything else. So I'm okay with that, but they have like this has been like a big like this is a big match, and they really rested on the laurels for the most part on the build. Where it was like, hey, John Cena turned heel, and that's enough. And it certainly is, but man, it is like real close to me, like kind of crapping all over it. I don't think, we'll see what happens on Friday. If there's nothing this week, I'd probably be more harsh on it as we go. But it's such a big moment in history of pro wrestling that I get it, and I do hope that this is the start of a story. And if they like saved a lot of stuff because of that, I can be more forgiving, but they have to prove it to me as well.
I think that's fair. Do you think that there's any chance, or what do you, because there is a chance, I don't think you'll disagree with me on that, but what do you think the chance is, percentage-wise, that Cena gets cheered at WrestleMania, like opposite Cody, like where it's like a Hogan Rock thing, but in this instance, it's Cena. Kind of people just want to see him win a 17th world title. Like, do you think that? Like, what do you think? Like, do you put it at better than 50-50? Worse than 50-50?
Yeah, like where you're talking like a majority of the crowd is actively cheering for Cena beyond like a spot or two, right?
Yeah.
That's your question.
Yeah. I'm talking like I'm talking like Hogan-esque Rock.
Yeah, where they turn on Cody and they are cheering for John Cena.
Yes, boisterously.
I'd say like under 15%.
Okay. Good, because I agree. I think it would just be really disappointing. I think that would be like tremendously disappointing if that happened.
That's also the good thing about modern wrestling fans. Like I think we're all in on this, like wanting this to work as a story.
True. Yep.
Like we want the Cena thing to be like, we want him to be like a bastard out there, and like to cheer for him negates a lot of that. And I think at least subconsciously, a lot of us know that.
Good point, and I think that's true too. Yeah, I think people want the thing that they've wanted for so long to be good. And to that happen, you have to boo him. So, is there any chance John Cena doesn't win his 17th title here? We talked a lot about Cena and what happens next with him as champion, but is that who you're taking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Cena. I think I don't know what the odds are. I think it's pretty strong for Cena as well. I'd have to look. But, yeah, I would say like 80% likelihood for me personally that Cena wins this, maybe a little bit more. Because, like, if he loses, then that's kind of like tells you he's got not a ton of appearances, and you want to like transition him back to a babyface pretty quickly. And maybe that's help. I don't know. It's just like, what's Cody doing after this? Like, is Cody and Drew McIntyre your like SummerSlam match for that title?
I think it could be.
I think it's not good for Cody in his babyface run if he wins this. Because it's been a year and it's been good, but like if he wins this by next WrestleMania, I mean, people are AEW Cody and him. I think pretty quickly. If you try and do a longer run than what this is. And if I'm Cody too, like I want to lose this and be the one to take it back off of John Cena.
Right.
Like I'm advocating to lose here and tell that story. So I'm a prominent figure in doing, some of the biggest matches of all time in the company's history. So I think he'd be a fool to want to win here. as a human being and a character.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Cena wins for that reason. Like, I mean, Cena's going to pay it back at some point, whether it's the end of the year or whether it's WrestleMania or whatever, whatever. But I definitely think Cody is the guy that's going to beat Cena in the end of this. And yeah, for that to happen and for it to mean something, you got to give Cena a long run with the title. So I mean, I think he needs to have this summer where he beats Randy Orton, he beats CM Punk, maybe he beats Seth Rollins or somebody to that end, or some up and coming guys. That I think is, if you're Cody, this is like an investment in your long-term babyface health, in taking a loss, play from behind, get everybody on your side again. That did good business for WWE when Cody's chasing the championship. For 2 years, they were in that business. So, if you're Cody, yeah, you lose here and to live another day. And I think from Cena's perspective, yeah, he's a heel. You just turned him heel. It's like I don't think he should lose his first match as a heel.
And like my personal fantasy booking from the first night, like Seth has a lot of issues with Cody too as a character.
Yes,
so
he does. Correct.
Him like being there to screw over Cody, if it's like a stomp and then an attitude adjustment after like literally taking the 5 moves of doom, that's a pretty good way to protect Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
and like to have like your Cody and Seth can battle for that World Heavyweight title even at some point if you want like Cody to get something really big going on too. So I think it just makes a lot of sense, and it's almost got to be the inverse of last year where maybe no one comes to protect him, and like Cody has to deal with why he didn't have like the legends of the past come back and save him a second time.
Yeah, that's compelling too. Last question on this, and then we're gonna wrap up. Can this be a good match in the ring?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can tell a story that, yeah, you can. It's going to be slower. It's going to be like more classic. This could totally be like a Triple H main event in 2007.
Yeah, but that wasn't always good.
Yeah, not glowing praise, but there's a lot of bells and whistles, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a elevated John Moxley Death Riders match.
Okay,
that's fair. I know that's not glowing praise, but what's that? A 2.5 match? This could be a 3 1/4 match for sure. It's all about the story.
Yeah, and it's all about, I think, Cody too. Like, he's gotta sell a lot for Cena. I think you're gonna see a Cena. Like, I think Cena in the ring will benefit from working heel. He doesn't have to do as much. Like, he can just punch, kick, brawl. Like, he can do that a lot easier than having to actually like do cool moves and stuff. Not that he had that many to begin with, but I think the heel in ring will be better for him.
Yeah, and Cody's bleeding for sure here, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Jeez.
So that'll help too.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder what match he'll do, like what Dusty match from like what's like Starrcade 81. What was Dusty doing? Was it him and Flair? Was that 82, 83?
It was. Oh God, I don't have my history hat on. I don't remember
There's
when that was.
A Dusty Starrcade match that this is going to mirror pretty convincingly. I think would be a good video for someone to do. So good free bait for
Starrcade 83. Good stuff, Andrew.
So I might watch that and see how much it compares. So that might be my homework.
Yeah. All right. I'm taking Cena. Tyler's taking Cena. And we've previewed WrestleMania 41. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. We really appreciate it. Fun show. Been looking forward to it for a few weeks. Yes, it was long, but hey, WrestleMania is long. So it is what it is. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/BrassRingMedia to check it out. Check out what we offer. We'll be reviewing both nights of WrestleMania this weekend. And we've got so much more coming up with a member-only show that will do some more with WrestleMania. And we got a Kick-Ash podcast on Saturday, the day of WrestleMania. Robert will be on hand after both nights of WrestleMania live right here with your post show. So you'll have that to look forward to and so much more. I'll be in Vegas. I'll be taking lots of fun videos and covering all sorts of different events and shows and whatnot. So keep it tuned. Keep it locked here. You're not going to want to miss anything that we have coming up at Brass Ring Media. Tyler, any final words?
I don't think so.
All right. Once again, guys, thank you. Thank you to our gold members, Andrew H., Adam Kidd, and Sean Palikta. Really appreciate it. Thank you to our super chatters, Tracy, Joshua, and Zach. And stick with us. WrestleMania week is here, and we got a big week planned for you. Thanks so much. We'll talk to y'all real soon. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. See ya.